Today we will discuss about the topic biofertilizers. As we know, fertilizers are the essential component in the agriculture field. Fertilizers are the agent, either chemical or biological, which increase the availability of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium that are the major nutrients that support the plant growth because nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium are the essential component of the plant that involve in the metabolic processes such as photosynthesis, transpiration, respiration, their nutrition, etc., and increase the growth of plants. Generally, we use several chemical fertilizer, urea, that provide the essential amount of nitrogen to the soil and the plant that support the growth of the plant and increase the productivity of the crop. But they have the several disadvantages because they have several chemical components that are non-biodegradable and cause several harmful effects on the soil fertility as well as on the plant growth. So, to avoid these chemical fertilizer loss, now we use the biofertilizers. Biofertilizers are the biological agents such as bacteria, fungi, and other microorganisms that have capability to increase the availability of nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. They are live in the rhizospheric soil and support the plant growth. The main function of the biofertilizers are first to increase the nitrogen content, phosphorus content and potassium and the other minerals such as iron, magnesium, chloride ion, calcium ion that are essential for the plant growth. First we discuss about the microorganisms that are helpful in to increase the nitrogen content. There are the two ways in which the essential nitrogen is provided to the plant. There are chemical method and the biological method. First we discuss about the chemical method. In the chemical method, we use the Haber process in which the atmospheric nitrogen that is present in the form of N2 is converted into the ammonia. But it requires a high energy and controlled process. So it is a very costly process. Generally we use the urea and the DAP as the nitrogen content. But due to the negative effect of the chemical fertilizers on the soil fertility, we support the use of the biological agents to increase the availability of the nitrogen. As we know, atmosphere has about 78% of the total nitrogen content, but this nitrogen is not in the form of available nitrogen. This nitrogen is present in the form of N2. That is, two nitrogen are associated with the covalent bond. This nitrogen cannot be directly available to the plant. So, several microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi, cyanobacteria convert this nitrogen into the available form by the process of nitrogen cycle that involve the steps such as ammonification, nitrogen fixation, and denitrification. The microorganisms that are biologically fix the nitrogen and help in the providing nitrogen to the plant are basically present in the three forms. First one is symbiosis, non-symbiotic and associative. As we know about the symbiotic relationship in which two different species are live in association and exchange the material that are essential for their living process or metabolic processes. As we know about the rhizobium bacteria, this bacteria is present in the roots of the leguminous plant such as urad, moong and the other dal family plant. These rhizobium bacteria are the gram-negative bacteria that is present in the root of the leguminous plants. This is present in the symbiotic association with the plants. They form the nodules in the leguminous plants and fix the atmospheric nitrogen. They first form the infection thread and enter into the root hairs, where it increases their population and they use the plant as host for their nutrition. As they grow, they form the bacteroids which have the capability to fix the nitrogen and provide the nitrogen to the plant, which is essential for the plant growth. Then, because rhizobium fixes the nitrogen because it has an important gene which is known as NIF gene, which is encoded an enzyme that is known as nitrogenase enzyme. Nitrogenase enzyme fixes the atmospheric nitrogen and provide it to the plants. We can also use the rhizobium bacteria for the industrial level or commercial for their commercial production. For the commercial production, we first isolate the rhizobium bacteria. For the isolation of rhizobium bacteria, we isolate the soil from the rhizosphere. Rhizosphere is the region around the roots where the major population of the microorganism occurs. We take some amount of soil and dilute it and grow it on the YEMB media, yeast extract mannitol agar media. This is the specific media for the growth of rhizobium bacteria. Because the rhizobium bacteria and agrobacterium both form the tumor-like structure or nodules in the roots of the plant. So, to differentiate rhizobium bacteria from the agrobacterium, we add the Congo red dye. Then, after isolation, we use the fermenter for their growth and produce it at the commercial level. And another symbiotic organism is the cyanobacteria. Cyanobacteria are also a family of bacteria that are capable to fix the atmospheric nitrogen. These are the first animal or microorganism that are identified as the nitrogen fixing microorganism. They form the heterocyst which are helpful to maintain the anaerobic environment and fix the atmospheric nitrogen. They also occur in the symbiotic association with the other plants and provide the nitrogen which is the essential part for their growth and their metabolic processes. Next is the non-symbiotic bacteria या non-symbiotic microorganism that are capable to fix atmospheric nitrogen but not occur in the symbiotic association. For example, Azotobacter. Azotobacter is a gram-negative bacteria that also grow in the anaerobic environment. They are filamentous and also fix the atmospheric nitrogen. To isolate the Azotobacter or grow for the commercial production, we use the Azotobacter broth. This is also specific for the Azotobacter to differentiate it from the other rhizospheric microorganism. Then, after isolation, we also use the same process as we study in the rhizobium isolation for their commercial production. Next, now come to the associative relationship. In the associative relationship, we study the example of Azospirillum and Frankia. They are occur mainly in the root of the Gramineae family. They also fix the atmospheric nitrogen. They are essential for the plant growth and they have no symbiotic association with the plant. Now we discuss about the second nutrient, which is phosphorus. The phosphorus is also an essential component of DNA and other metabolic reactions. So, phosphate is also an essential component for the plant growth. Several microorganisms are fix the phosphorus, which is not directly available to the plant. Phosphorus is present in the soil in sufficient amount, but plant could not take directly this phosphate as their essential component. So this phosphorus is converted into the available phosphorus by the several microorganisms. These are known as phosphate solubilizing microorganism or PSM. These are Pseudomonas, Bacillus, Micrococcus and Aspergillus, Penicillium, etc. They are generally thermophilic bacteria and convert the phosphorus which is present in the soil to the available phosphorus. There are several methods to measure the nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium content in the soil. If we want to measure the fertility of the soil, we can measure the essential factors of the soil such as pH, their nitrogen content, phosphorus content, potassium content and the total carbon content. To measure the total nitrogen content of the soil, we use the Kjeldahl method, and if we use to measure the total phosphorus content in the soil, we use the Bayer's method. These are the essential components that support the growth of the plant. So we have to measure the proper amount of the nitrogen and the phosphorus content in the soil before we use it as the fertile soil. Thank you. If you have any questions about this topic, you can write in the comment.